On the 3rd of July 1992, the next generation of gaming finally began in full. The Super Nintendo launched in Australia. And little Irvy wasn't very happy. I mean, come on. I'd only owned my old Nintendo for 6 months and I hadn't even bought my first game yet. Now they had the gall to release a whole new console with games that I couldn't play on my old one, including a brand new Mario. How dare they? So yeah, I got over it. The Super Nintendo is, in my opinion, the best console ever released. Not only did it have the best of Nintendo's own software, but it had the best of Capcom, Square, Konami, Enix, Ocean, Interplay, Rare, etc, etc, etc. The only big company that wasn't making games for Nintendo was Sega. So the machine was an absolute monster of A-grade software. Of course, there was a lot of rubbish on it as well, but if anyone wanted to know why the Super Nintendo was the king of consoles, I think pictures would speak better than words. The Super Nintendo launch title that everyone was dying to play, of course, was Super Mario World. In Japan, it was officially called Super Mario Bros. 4, but in the West, the number was dropped. It follows a logical progression from the previous game, although there are a few unexpected surprises. For example, the Dinosaur Land breed of Goombas don't die when jumped on. Sometimes power-ups can be found outside of blocks. Jumping on giant switches changes the layout of some levels. The main difference though is that the game is no longer broken up into separate worlds. Dinosaur Land is one big open world that does not necessarily have to be played in a certain order. This new map system gives the world a whole new sense of freedom, and it really feels like Mario's going on an adventure. For this game, Nintendo ditched the idea of all Mario's suits, and instead went for the tried and true Fire Flower and added in the cape, a brand new way to fly. I think I prefer the raccoon suit, but the cape is still pretty cool. The other major addition is Yoshi, the cute little dinosaur that Bowser trapped in an egg. The variety of gameplay while riding Yoshi is fantastic as well, because he gets his own range of power-ups. There are a few more little changes. Mario can now throw things upwards, for example, but it's mostly a natural evolution of the amazing designs in Mario 3. Even Bowser's kids came back for more, in their last appearance for 11 years following. Of course, being a Mario game, it's absolutely filled to the brim with secrets just waiting to be discovered. Eventually you'll find your way to the Star Road, which is the new version of a warp zone. Using it, it's possible to finish the game in about 20 minutes, but that would be cheating, wouldn't it? There's more though. If you solve all of the secrets in the Star World, you'll eventually find Special World. Even that has a hidden secret. If you leave Mario standing around long enough... Special World is not for the faint-hearted though. It has 8 of the most challenging Mario levels ever, especially the maniacal tubular. Ugh. It should be no surprise to anyone to hear that Super Mario World has aged extremely well. There couldn't have been a better flagship title to convince people to buy the new console. There's an eternal debate about which is better, Mario 3 or Mario 4. I myself can never decide. Every time I make a decision, I end up changing my mind, so I'd have to say I love them both equally. Super Mario World is an absolutely outstanding example of game design. But you already knew that, didn't you? With new technology came new terminology, and suddenly Mode 7 was the hottest thing in 3D graphics. The Super Nintendo had the means to scale and zoom a flat image to give a good illusion of the third dimension, and one of the first games to really show off this new feature was a little racing game called F-Zero. The first thing you realise when you start your racing is that the edge of the track is bad. Hit the edge and it'll slow you down and make you lose energy as well. This becomes more of a problem as the tracks begin to get narrower and narrower, and it's especially painful when the other drivers get in the way. The AI hovercrafts always seem to know how to be a nuisance. The tracks themselves have quite a lot of variety, so you're always facing new challenges. I also like the way the game gives you a speed boost every time you cross the finish line, and it's up to you when to use it. There's a slight element of strategy there, knowing when to use your boost. F-Zero's main drawcard was its breakneck speed. You'd hardly dare to blink while playing this game. It's all very intense, and one brief lapse of concentration could destroy your chances of winning in a heartbeat. As a demo of the Super Nintendo's power, F-Zero was pretty cool. As for how it plays today though, I'm not completely sold. This game has been redone since, and it's been done much better. The 64's F-Zero X and the GameCube's amazing F-Zero GX are faster, more balanced, and more fun. This one's still good for nostalgia's sake, but like the original Mario Kart, it just can't stand up against its sequels. One more launch title this week. The Super Nintendo version of SimCity is hardly the original, but it's the one I've enjoyed the most. SimCity 2000 was fun, but anything after that just became so complicated that a lot of the fundamental enjoyment was lost. For me, anyway. Miyamoto's-san was apparently a big fan of the game, so when the Super Nintendo version was in the pipeline, he took an active role in its development, creating the character of Dr. Wright to give guiding hints and generally offer the game a bit of personality. When I started up my new city this time, I fell into the trap that I usually do, spend all the money to make my fledgling little town amazing, and then wonder where all the money went. SimCity is always a balancing act. To encourage more people to your city, you should lower the taxes, but then you won't get enough money to adequately expand your city and pay your services, so the disgruntled people start to leave. Beneath its leisurely exterior, the game can actually be pretty stressful. There's a lot riding on the shoulders of the poor mayor. Eventually, Irvy Town grew to a decent size, so it was about time to make some disasters. Bring in Bowser. I love SimCity. It's a real change of pace from the usual console games, and it's always one that I enjoy coming back to. And for that reason, I think it stands the test of time. Next week, I'm going to take a look at the early Final Fantasy series, especially the first 16-bit game. Till then, may all your chocobos be golden. Peace out.